welcome to the Mashed Bananas podcast. And today I have Jennifer, and we are going to talk about AI. So Jennifer has a couple of questions, and she's going to ask me. I'm working with AI in the company where I work, and I've also worked in the past with other AI apps, developing it, testing it, validating it, and running a whole set of use cases. So I know enough maybe to help out people from a one-on-one standpoint, but I'm not at a level that I'm very technical about it. So you'll see how this podcast progresses, and hopefully I could probably help Jennifer answer some of her questions pertaining to AI.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to talk to you about this. It's like the talk of the town. We're here in Austin, and I was at a business school this morning, and everybody's talking about AI. It's kind of crazy.
Everywhere.
I know. And I'm kind of like, is this hype? Is this real? Is this going to be like something that we really need to pay attention to? So, I'm a marketing officer. I've been a marketing executive for a number of years, but I haven't seen anything, take by storm the marketing landscape like AI. Everybody's trying to figure it out. Everybody's trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have a lot of opinions, and I'm kind of skeptical. Like, are these like good opinions? So I'm really excited to get your perspective.
Everyone has their own opinion about AI. But if you ask these people about, all right, have you ever used AI? Their answer is, no, we haven't used it. We've just listened to what other people have said, and we spewed out all that crap and given your opinion.
Right.
So I'm like, so when I heard of AI first, I was like, man, I gotta take a look at this. And the way I work, is I try to get into things. I try to meddle with it a little bit. And when I have some idea what it is about, then I start kind of researching it. I try to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Although you keep telling me that I know a lot about AI, but for me, the more I know, the less I know.
Yeah.
Because I'm a supply chain procurement technology professional. I've done a lot of business transformations, process transformations, implementations, supply chain consulting for a number of clients. And supply chain is vast. It's not like, these are a few components that form a supply chain. At the same time, I know enough from a supply chain standpoint, but as I keep discovering new things, I tend to feel that I know very little of supply chain, you know what I mean? So I think AI is exactly like that.
That makes sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, like, I want to start with like the basics, right? So just tell us what AI is and why should we even care for a person or a business?
Sure. AI is nothing but an IT application. In short, it needs an IT platform to work on, to function in. Now, I won't get into the technicalities of what makes an AI and what is a large language model, what is machine learning, what are neural networks, what is, various other concepts that are tied to AI. I'll keep it very simple so that everybody understands what AI is.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right? AI is an app which is pretty conversational, and it is going to give you responses in a humanoid or a human readable format. It's not going to talk to you like Siri or Google or Alexa, but it is going to start framing and drafting sentences that are very human-like.
Okay.
And it's going to give you information just like you are chatting with another person in real time. So with it depends. Let's assume I'm AI. You're talking to me, all right?
All right. Hey, yeah.
And you have to ask me the right questions.
Okay. So I have some work to do too.
Absolutely. You can't. I'm not gonna start working unless you give me a command.
Okay.
And these commands that you give me are called prompts.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. I've heard that before.
So every time you type, "Hey, what is the weather like?" That's a prompt.
Okay.
You're asking AI.
Okay.
What I am doing is I am going into my entire database. It could be the World Wide Web if it's an open source, or it could be a secure source, which could be my organization, proprietary information that I have to give only my employees or people or my clients that are tied to it. Depending on what you ask me, what the prompt is, my responses are going to be very human-like based on these prompts.
Okay, got it.
All right. But they're also going to be, so what do you use AI for? I use it for simplicity, basically, right? I can't expect AI to build me a spaceship or tell me how to build a spaceship because AI has its own boundaries. And, you know, the way you build AI is basically you ensure that it is not doing something wrong. Build me a gun. You know, can I build a bomb and, you know, blow something up? Like, you know, it can go into the wrong hands and it could cause trouble.
Okay, right.
But you don't want to, you know, you want to ensure that there is security, there's protocols in place, there's auditing, there's governance, all that goes into establishing AI responses.
So basically you're saying that AI is a IT platform based, like it's like a tool?
It's a tool. That's all it is.
And is it for efficiency basically, or are there other uses for AI?
If you go online, a lot of people have defined it in a lot of different ways.
Okay.
Some have overcomplicated it.
Yeah.
Some have oversimplified it.
Okay.
All right. So it depends on what you want to accomplish.
Okay.
AI can be leveraged for anything.
Okay.
Let me give you some examples. For example, I'm drafting an email. I can't find the right words. I want to make it professional.
Okay.
I'm going to go into AI and I'm going to say, hey, draft me a letter. But I'm going to give it certain parameters saying, hey, you know what? I want to get into this university, but I want to ensure that I have elected, I don't know, engineering or marketing or whatever it is.
Area study, right?
Yeah, the study, like the subject that I want to be in. And please let me know. And why I want to be in it is because not only that I'm interested in it, but because I have the passion for it. So you could say, hey, AI, can you draft me an introduction letter for a university within XYZ subject or elective. And I would like to be a part of that university and a curriculum. I would like to understand what options and what approaches do I have to get into that university.
Okay.
So what AI does in a matter of a few seconds gives you a draft for a letter. You can build on that draft.
Right.
Now, if you want to add something to the draft, you can say, hey, AI, can you add that, you know, I need a gym in a university.
Right.
As an example, I don't know. I don't have anything at the top of my head, but like I need a gym for university, and how do I ask for that in a nice way or whatever, you know?
So like a lot of times people talk about writer's block, you're just stumbling to get it going. It seems like in this example, AI would help you get something going, but then you can add to it and then ask AI to help add to it. So it's like an iterative, it seems iterative, right?
Or let's say you're writing to a CEO of a company, your company, you're an executive, so you probably deal with a lot of senior executives,
I have to read a lot of
leadership.
communications all the time.
Exactly. Now, you want to draft a very important communication that needs to go out to a very important senior leader.
Yeah.
You can draft an entire email. As long as it doesn't have any confidential information. Right. You know, you can redact that, draft whatever you have to draft, put it on, you know, ChatGPT or any other AI system, and ask them to redraft it for you. Simplify it for you. You want 2 paragraphs for that? Because you've written like an essay of a letter? AI is going to do that for you. And it's also going to break it down in different points. So you can use it to your benefit to make your work life easier. If it took me 8 hours to draft something, it's
Right.
now probably going to take me 2 to 3 hours to draft it.
Right.
Of course, AI is only going to help you with what you have asked it to do.
Right. So I need to know what I needed to ask it to do.
Yeah. But additionally, you can't just take that at face value.
Yeah. Right.
Because AI can be open source.
Right.
It can go out to the World Wide Web
Right. Right.
and get plagiarized information, copyright information. You want to make sure that none of this that you're writing to somebody or drafting to someone or something is not already done by somebody, and you don't get into trouble because of that.
Well, it seems like that, that old expression, garbage in, garbage out. Like, it seems like I have to ask a good prompt, you were saying before. But then it also seems I have some responsibility, too. I can't just take whatever AI spits out.
Exactly.
I mean, it isn't my responsibility to make sure that I'm not taking someone's, uncopyrighted information. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, that's why they have biases built into AI. And some of the AI security protocols are also known as responsible AI or PIIs.
Okay, right.
So again, I don't want to digress, but this is something that basically ensures that AI is not going out of control. It is giving you what you need. At the same time, AI is a machine. It's a system. It will get better version by version. But don't take anything that you get at face value from AI. Use your own brain, use your own common sense to go through. AI just simplified shit and gave it to you, right? Go and put in some more work.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So, like, this is one example where it helps me, say, make an initial draft or make my first draft a little better, a little more concise.
Or a strategy.
Well, I was going to say, like, tell me a little bit about how it can even be more strategic than just, copywriting help. It seems like, what if I gave them a bunch of some of my inputs on strategy and it said, summarize the main essence of this strategy? Would it be able to do that for me?
Of course it can do that for you.
Well, tell me a little bit more. That sounds really cool.
I'll tell you. Give me 1 second. Okay, so before I can even go ahead with the strategy, I want you to give me a use case, a very clear use case.
Okay.
In marketing in your field.
All right.
And then I can basically tell you how AI can help us.
Okay, great. So let's take a real example. Every year, marketing, together with the corporation, has to develop a strategic plan, marketing strategy plan. And usually, you collect lots of strategy documents from lots of different departments, lots of different product areas, lots of different divisions, what have you, right? Lots of stuff, lots of paper. And all you really simply need is like an elevator speech, a simple, what's the essence of this strategy? What's our vision? What are we trying to accomplish? What are our financial goals?
Stop right there. Now, you have the draft with you, right? The entire draft written down.
We have it all, but it's everywhere. We have tons of information.
But you can definitely summarize this entire draft in like a page.
Yes, but it would take a while, and sometimes it'd be helpful to have someone to be able to help kind of look through it all and say, what's the essence of this?
Okay, so this is where AI can help you. You can put like 1,000 drafts in front of AI and say, simplify it for me. AI is going to be like, I mean, it will give you nonsense, basically, right? Because it's not like this. I give 10 paragraphs on how to make an omelet.
Right.
To AI.
Right.
All right. I have French omelet. I have whatever, 10 different recipes. I give it to AI and say, simplify it for me.
Right.
AI would not understand that. But what you could do, you could break it down now.
Yeah.
You take one draft on how to make an omelet, give it to AI, and ask AI,
to make it better.
Can you please give me the mission and the vision based on this statement?
Got it. So I think this is great because I think a lot of times people think AI is going to do everything for you, and you're saying no. I'm still going to have to do work to synthesize and to bring it down.
Yeah, because how is AI going to do all the work for
Oh,
you?
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, I think I hear a lot of people say AI is going to take away all of our jobs, right? We're not going to have to think. I mean, haven't you heard some of this stuff?
In a way, AI is already taking away some minor jobs.
Yeah. But
All right.
you still need people to think about company strategy and how it's going to grow. You can't
Yeah.
just think, you're going to give it to some tool.
Exactly. So now coming to your strategy over here,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how to break it down for you.
Yeah.
So let's say I have this. Okay, so when you have to ask AI the right questions for you to get an answer.
Okay.
You can't just put shit out there in front of AI and say simplify it. That's not a question. That's not a prompt.
Right.
All right. I can definitely put an article, a rough draft of an article in front of AI and say simplify it. It will simplify it.
Yeah.
It will just make my article simpler. That's it.
Okay. Got it.
But if I give it some additional prompts saying revise my draft in about 2 paragraphs and in bullet points and highlight these bullet points and give it to me, AI is going to do that work for you.
Yeah.
Then AI knows what it needs to do. It needs to revise the draft, simplify it in 2 paragraphs or bullet points,
Got it. Yeah.
and then you get the draft that AI. And AI is not only going to do that. AI is going to give you options.
Cool.
So, like option A, do you want option B? Do you want option C?
Right.
You're not happy? All right, let me give you another option. And then you pick the output that you get from AI. You pick that output.
Yeah.
And then you put in your
Your
common sense,
right.
intelligence that, God gave you into that and make it work.
Yeah.
Now, coming to a point where taking away jobs. Ideally, what would happen in organizations is I would give this draft to, let's say to a subordinate, maybe to a very junior level person.
Right.
And I would say, hey, I'll give you 2 days, 2 days of pay, 16 hours, revise it, bring it to me. What do? In the past, I would get a piece of a pen and a paper,
Yeah.
strike,
Old school, right?
revise it. Like some people even do it right now.
Right.
Or
Redline
I
it.
would Gen Z or Gen X, whatever you guys want to call millennials or whatever. Oh, let me do it on Microsoft Word, and I'm gonna add comments, and I'm gonna have redlining under that, and and I'm gonna email it to you. Well, AI will avoid all of that,
Right.
which means I don't need to pay that junior level person 16 hours of work. I get this done in about an hour or 2, or less than that.
But it could still mean you need that person. That person, though, has more time to do other things, too, right? If they're using AI, or are you saying that person doesn't, we don't need to have
No.
that function?
That person can do something else, you're right. Okay? You just saved your company 16
Hours, right?
hours of billing
Right.
or whatever.
Right. Yeah, because in this strategy example, I think the beauty of it is instead of like spending all your time and all your hours just rewriting and simplifying and organizing, right? Strategy is about doing.
Yeah.
So that person can then help you go do your strategy once you have that summary, right?
Exactly. So when you have clients that you work with, right?
Right.
Why can't clients just use AI and do their things? That is because they got other things to do. They got to
Right.
run a company. They
Right.
got other departments to work with.
Right, right.
All right? You have open source AI that is very open source. It'll give you information from all sources,
Right.
but you don't know if it's plagiarized, if it's copyright, or anything
Right,
like
right.
that.
That's true.
Then you have specific AI tools that are very, very specific in a specific field, such as healthcare, marketing, manufacturing, oil and gas,
Yeah.
IT, stuff like that. Let me give you an example of mine, right?
Okay.
So I have supply chain implementation that I do, and of course we deal with ERP systems, and at the back end we have JSON and SQL scripts to work on.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in any of the JSONs or the SQL script, but I could do a little bit of scripting on SQL, right? It's just logic. You got to know the right tables. You got to write the right script, and run that program on SQL. Now there was a very complex, SQL script that was written by one of our engineers to extract some data from one of our databases from the back end.
Okay.
The engineer gave me the script, and I ran it on SQL, and it kept failing. I sent it back to him, and I said, well, your script's failing, man. It's not working. Forget about getting me the data. Your script is totally bombing. SQL's given me a red error in multiple places.
Right.
I can't figure out what's wrong with it. I don't have the time to sit and review the script and, try to correct it because I got other things to do. Can you take a look? 2 days, take a look. The guy's like, hey, and he's a seasoned engineer. He's not like some newbie who's come in, right? And it's not his fault. I mean, the script is quite long that he's given me. So I say, okay, let me try this. I kept the tables as they were because AI is not going to know anything about the tables because they're in our database.
Okay, got it.
But I took the script as it were, masked the tables out, put it into AI, OpenAI, and said, can you revise this script for me?
Oh, something you had asked that guy to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just told AI, please revise this SQL script in the right format.
Okay.
And send it to me.
Okay.
It took exactly, I think, 3 to 4 seconds. It just spewed out a script.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
I took the script, I compared it against the script that my engineers had. There was only one problem. For some reason, he had commas within the script.
Oh.
The script was okay.
Yeah. It's just.
I mean, AI also improvised it.
Right.
Shortened it out.
Okay.
So we didn't have to use a long-ass script. We could use a more abridged version of the script. And it took out all the commas where the engineer probably gave it to someone else to do it, who gave it to him, and finally got to me. So all I had to do was, instead of wasting 2 days, taking a script, if it's not working for me, I should have proactively gone into AI, ran this, pulled out whatever AI gave me. Again, I'm comparing and validating it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then feeding it into SQL. Then it worked.
Okay, got it.
And then I got the script, I gave it back to the engineer. And this is what he said to me. Hey, this is a lot more simpler. Like, how'd you figure that out? And I was like...
Well, you don't want to always reveal your secret sauce,
exactly.
Right?
So I told him, it took you 2 days to figure this out? It took me 2 hours, man. I got it done. And he's like, no, seriously, you're not an expert at SQL. Like, how'd you do that? I was like, I just used AI, man.
Well, it's good. At least you admitted that you messed up, right?
Yeah, I just like to play around with these guys sometimes, because I did his job better than him. He's a great guy. Not that he's not doing a great job. It's just
But he also provided the initial input, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you needed something.
Again, now when it comes to jobs, it doesn't mean when an engineer is giving me a SQL script, that's all he's doing all day,
No,
writing
exactly. That's
SQL.
my point, right? And there's other things that guy had to do, too.
He's got to monitor entire databases.
Yeah,
he's got to manage, multiple teams. He's got to ensure that ERP systems are integrated correctly.
Yeah.
So he's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah.
For him to write this script was just an additional task. He could have given it, he wouldn't have given it to A. He gave it to me.
Yeah.
I simplified it. I've used it. I've just improvised the process on how to do things.
Right.
So these are some of the learnings that you could take. Like your strategy, same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's making sense.
Use the right prompts or questions to ask AI so you get the right guidance, not answers.
Guidance. I like that. I like that word. That's a good difference. Yeah.
Right? AI gives you, revise it. All right, run it on Google for us, whatever. If you think some of that is copyright information, plagiarized, whatever, run it on Google. You'll find sources.
Yeah.
You don't find sources because AI is going to give you sources too.
Yeah. Makes sense.
If you look at Copilot, you ask Copilot something, it gives you an answer, but it'll also give you a glossary of links where it got these answers from.
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to talk about is like sometimes I go into these organizations and you have two groups of people, right? The people that are like, go AI, like I want to try it. They're signing up for all the classes and playing around with it. And then there's these people, I don't know, maybe they're a little scared and because they think AI is just going to take away their jobs or the way they've always done their jobs. And one person said, you know what, AI, use it or lose it, meaning use it or you will eventually maybe lose your job if you don't adopt it. It doesn't say your job's going away, but if you don't adapt in your role, I mean, people have been having to adapt their roles since the beginning of time, but I see a lot of people still scared. Do you see that at all?
Yeah, it's good to be scared in a way.
Yeah.
I'll give you my example the best. Like, I always scared of doing squats in the gym. Because it's the most painful exercise. I love it, but I hate it more than I love it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
All right. And when I had to do squats, the first time I tried it, and then the second week I want to redo the squat. Ever since that day, I started dreading squats because my coach would push me with pain.
Yeah.
But I still went and did it.
Yeah.
To understand the technique and the science behind it and how it's helped me killing a squat.
Yeah.
That may be a shitty example.
No, but it's like the no pain, no gain. Right? So are you saying that in the short term people might feel a little uncomfortable with this new stuff? But...
Not uncomfortable. It's the unknown, all right?
Okay.
People are getting intimidated by AI.
Yeah.
Not because they know what it is going to do, but because they don't know what it is going to do.
You can't see the end from the beginning kind of thing.
Right. So, and plus there's all these gurus that are out there. Greatest gurus.
Yeah,
everybody's
a guru these days.
Yeah. AI 101 and, everything that goes on online. Let me create an element of fear and push fear. It's going to help improve the stock market, especially these news channels.
Yeah. Everything's about fear.
News channels are like, not everyone is fake, but they just create so much hype and fear.
Yeah.
AI is going to take your jobs away. Even just go on these articles. Like, jobs are anyway going to go.
That's true.
One way or the other, whether there's AI or no AI.
Right, and jobs become other jobs, right?
You put in the effort to start using AI. Start seeing the benefits of using AI. Get into the weeds of it, then you will know for sure how much bullshit is going around. The negative talk about AI.
Yeah.
And you have to start adapting. You have to start evolving from a career standpoint. You can't rely. People used paper a lot.
Yeah.
Then they went on to computers. Then came the internet. Then came cloud. Right?
Yeah.
So technology is going to keep evolving.
That's
you
true.
have to evolve with technology to be able to use it effectively. That will create jobs.
Yeah.
To be useful to, if I have to interview someone, let's say 5 years from now, I'm going to see, can you use basic AI functions? You're hired.
Yeah.
Can you use another person, can you use basic AI functions? No, never used AI. Okay, let me think about it.
Yeah. I mean, remember back in the day when you'd get asked in your resume, when people would screen your resume, do you know Word and PowerPoint? Like the basic.
Exactly.
No one asks that nowadays. It's kind of like.
It's a given.
It's a given, exactly. So a lot of this does seem like there's this unnecessary fear.
Totally unnecessary fear. You know, when Microsoft Excel and all these tools came in, there was always this fear. Like, there were companies that were selling filing cabinets.
True.
Those companies are extinct now.
Yeah.
And some of those companies, if I don't know some of the names on the top of my head, but I was just researching this a couple of days ago. These companies evolved into manufacturing something else that was in demand in the market.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's how some of them survived.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you going to tell me I'm not going to use computers, I'm going to stick to paper, I'm going to start filing everything, I'm going to start, labeling everything, I'm going to go use a cabinet now? It's the same talk.
Right.
Beyond AI, you're going to have robotics.
Yeah.
All right? Because robotics is going to have brains.
Right.
AI is going to evolve into a point where it'll be self-sufficient, self-learning, self-sustaining. All right? At that point in time, you're going to be scared. I mean, AI is going to get to that point 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Almost every manufacturing will be robotics coupled with AI. At that point in time, you will have to evolve.
Yeah.
Something to do with robotics, something to do with AI, something to do with technology that is going to be a requirement at that point in time. And technology is not like, I remember when I was younger, C#, C++,
Yeah. Yeah.
we had all these languages that we had to learn. COBOL, Java, and all of that.
Yeah. I remember that.
Those courses were how long? 6 months to 8 months.
Yeah.
Those courses now are probably 3 weeks long.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Excuse me.
So, like, if I'm a company and I haven't been doing much with AI, maybe I'm sort of, dabbling in ChatGPT, or I'm trying to think about my own version of, my own internal version, but I haven't really done much. My people are sort of saying, like, company, like, what are we going to do about AI? Like, where do you start? Question is, how do I get started in in a company? Everybody's talking AI, but what do you need to do to start?
Just use AI. Just jump into it. I'll tell you, for example, right? You could do a lot of presentations on AI.
Yeah.
You could do a lot of courses. You can spend a lot of money bringing other people and do a lot of courses. That's basically, I mean, it'll work. It'll work on some of the employees, but not everybody.
Okay.
Because the adoption on that would be low to maybe medium.
Yeah, right.
I would say just tell everybody, hey, there's a tool out there. There's so many open source AIs. Start using that. See how learn how to use it. All right. See how it's going to help you. Now you have your own perception of AI. And you have a whole lot of questions about AI.
Okay.
And now you bring in all these introductory courses or classes or speakers or, and you talk about AI 101.
Yeah. Okay.
And the best thing is to use cases, scenarios from your organization.
Okay, that are actually real practical ways that this is going to benefit
Exactly.
you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't get into, within your organization, just don't bring someone in and say, hey, we're going to talk about AI and talk about completely something totally different.
Yeah.
For example, I'm in supply chain, right?
Right.
So when we talk about AI, we're trying to, at least I am doing this within my organization, is trying to see how AI is going to benefit supply chain. What can I integrate? How are my large language models being trained to use supply chain information? What are they, which is the AI platform, our in-house proprietary, AI tool is integrating against?
Yeah.
And where is the source for that?
Okay.
And then I go into a lot, deeper stuff, which is data security, accuracy, data leakages that you see in AI, prompt injections and stuff like that, which is a little harmful from an AI standpoint, but I won't get into these technicalities now.
Yeah.
If someone's going to come into train an organization in AI, I better prep them up with some of our use cases.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, you need to help that outside partner, right, understand, or maybe they can help you identify those use cases. And isn't it like, a little bit of a test and learn? Like, let's try that.
Right.
See if it works there. Let's try it over here. Get more people involved. Learning by doing seems more practical.
So the other thing is an organization has many work groups. You have a marketing department, HR department, a technology department, and all of that, right? So if I have to bring someone in on a generic scale, how can everybody use AI?
Yeah.
Communication, number one. Emails.
True.
Training manuals, business requirement documents, technical requirement documents, configuration guides.
Okay.
I can have pages and pages of them.
Okay.
But how do I make it concise?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Process improvement strategy. I've written one for a client. How do I simplify that? So they can understand it.
Right.
I feed that into AI and ask AI to revise it, and it gives me the output that I can use, but I'm going to modify it.
Yeah, okay.
What I'm not going to do, if it's an open source AI, is put all my company's proprietary information into that.
Yeah, because that would just be like opening up your closet and saying, hey, take whatever you want, people.
Exactly, because you can have client confidential information.
Yeah.
You don't want to put it out there. You have your contracts. You don't want to put it out there.
No, you don't want to take your PII, your personal identifiable information.
Exactly. So you do a very generic crash course for people on how to use AI, but you also educate them how to use it, because you don't want someone who's not thinking logically puts in all my client's billion-dollar information into an open source AI. Now it's accessible. I don't know where it's going, but it's going somewhere, right? And so that is harmful. I'm not going to take all your personal information and put it in an AI and, try and get something out of it. It's within a boundary. You as an organization's got to draw that boundary.
Got it.
And you should have a team that can audit what is going into AI.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So if there is a red flag, you can audit, you can track the source, and you can go to the source and basically, hey, this is not right. Stuff like that. Then you have AI that are AI specializations, I say, such as a legal organization for contracts, can use AI specifically for contracts within its proprietary framework.
Okay.
You're in marketing, so you're going to use AI specific for marketing purposes within your organization's framework.
Okay.
So this framework is where you can use cases. So now you're not going to use a generic one. You're going to use a specific AI. That AI is going to use the data within your organization's database, wherever you stored it, in a cloud or, in a secure source on site, wherever it is. But whatever use cases you have and whoever you're working with, you have to make sure that, the right information, the right use cases, the right examples are being showcased to your users who now know how to adopt to AI. AI should be a benefit, not a pain to work with.
Okay. So like, let me just make sure I get this for others who are listening too. So if I'm like a retailer and I know a lot about what my customers buy, and I'm making this up, I'm Target, but I don't want Walmart to know what Target customers buy, right? Because it's confidential information, right? Would I be able to, however, use AI to really understand, the most popular areas or categories of product that are interesting and what kinds of buyers they are? First-time buyers, multiple buyers. Would that be my data? Because I really couldn't use a publicly available source to do that. I would have to feed it my own data Right. So how would that work?
That's a great question because here's how it goes. I can answer that. And
Okay.
I'll try to keep it as simple as I
Yeah,
can.
but that's what I want to do is understand it simply.
All right. It depends on the AI platform that you're using.
Okay.
All right. If it's an open source, obviously you're not going to get all that information.
No.
Or you're going to get incorrect information.
Which is worse, right?
Which is not great. All right. Then you have, let's say you partner with an AI company so that they can integrate their AI technology into your systems.
Okay, got
make it asynchronous.
Okay.
All right. So multiple systems can use one AI platform.
Okay.
Now here's the important part. All of this that you're talking about is your proprietary information. There's a pricing sheet. There's a market basket of items.
Yep.
All these prices have indexes on them, price indexes.
Right.
And then you have a market price index too, depending on how various commodities fluctuate.
Okay. Right.
So now what you want to do is basically you need to work with your AI partner to train your large language models to go into your database and pick out specific information that you would need.
Okay, got it.
All right? It's not an open source. Open source can do it, but it's going to be open information that's all out there.
But I want to, in this case, adapt those models.
You will have to, so your AI partner would have to create these models.
Okay.
Would have to train them based on your use cases.
Got it. Okay.
And once these models have been trained, and then your users start writing the prompts to get information that they need.
Okay.
Because it's proprietary, it is within a confined
Yeah.
boundary.
Okay. No, I think that makes sense. Yeah.
So you have your own framework. So in this case, you might use a lot of metadata information.
Right.
And why would you want to use metadata? You want to use metadata information because you want to get the answers as accurately as you can.
Okay. No.
Not generic. So for example, let me take an example. Give me the price of a Dell Model 2025 laptop versus give me the price of an HP Model 2025 laptop versus what is the market index for laptops with these configurations that are out there.
Yeah.
AI can give you all that information as long as it's within your proprietary.
Right.
So, but if you just say, give me the prices of all the laptops that I got. So your metadata is the Dell as a laptop is your metadata.
Yeah.
Or HP is your metadata, or market index is your metadata of various laptops or whatever. As this is just an example.
No, that makes sense.
It's a stupid example, but it's an example.
No, that makes sense. It's good.
Right? Rather than saying, give me the prices of Dell laptops. AI is going to be like, which Dell laptop? There's so many models that are out there. So it's going to start dumping all the pricing of all the Dell laptops at you.
Yeah. Well, it seems, and maybe to wrap up, like it seems like there are certain skills, like mindset, I guess I should say, you have to have with AI. It seems you just have to be open to learning, and trying and experimenting.
AI is self-evolving.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
And it'll keep evolving into the future. Now look at it. If I have to ask you a question, if I'm not being specific, I'm confusing you.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you trying to get? What are you trying to ask me?
Right? But if I ask you a specific question,
then I know how to answer it.
Exactly.
That's a good way to look at it.
So if I want you to give me the answer that I'm looking for, then ask me the right question.
Right.
Don't ask me something generic.
Yeah, it's like what I said earlier, garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah.
If you ask me not a great question, you're not going to get a good answer. That makes
Exactly.
sense. Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should if you think we can wrap it up, we can wrap this up.
Yeah, because I think, we have probably lots of questions out there, and maybe we can field some of those questions next time.
And we're going to have more of these sessions. This was just a very basic introductory sessions. At least users that are out there who don't know a lot about AI can probably use this podcast to, get some idea. But we're going to go into more detail on how AI actually works, how we're going to go in depth into what makes an AI, how it is built, and, what is its infrastructure look like, its design.
It's because it's like everybody, gets in their car every morning, but not everybody knows what's under the hood. I think it's important to know a little bit what's under the hood.
So let's peel it.
Yeah.
And then put it out there.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And then, for all those AI experts who agree to disagree can also be a part of this podcast.
Bring it on, right?
Exactly.
It sounds good.
All right.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
It was nice meeting you.
Yeah, well, I've already met you, but no, it's good to talk with you. It's really good how you simplified it for us. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right, guys. So this is the Mashed Bananas podcast, and I have Jennifer with me. And she was the host today, and I was answering the questions. If you enjoyed it, please let us know, and we will make more. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Peace.